Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Cool Guy Coding, and today I'm going to be going through if statements. So from our previous video, we created this standard Hello World program here, and yeah, so we're going to look through if statements. So what is an if statement to start with? So an if statement is basically a flag. If something is set as something, then do something else, and then usually with an if statement it's followed by an else statement. So if something, then do something, else do something else. So just as a quick example of an if statement, we can just bring out in Python, we can just have here if number equals to 0, then do something else. So let's do print, and let's just do hello number. Now you'll see num here is coming up with a red underlying here. That means it's just not been defined yet. So if we just define num and we give it a value of 0, and you see now it's gone, that means it's valid. Now you may have noticed when we've done the if statement and we press enter, you see there's an indentation here that's given. Now Python, unlike other languages, runs everything via indentation. So usually if we had Java, we may have if, and then we'd have num equals 0, and then we would have some brackets, and that would show what's going to be inside a given if statement. Now with Python we don't need to do any of that. It's fairly simple. We don't even need to write then, we just have an indentation here, and anything on this indentation represents is inside this if statement. So if I was to put something outside this if statement, which I'll do after, I'll put it in here for now so you guys can see hello outside statement. Right, so as you can see, we have number set as 0. If number equals to 0, then print out hello number. To go back to our terminal here, we can either run Python through here. So remember last time we had our Python project, so we can do our Python version from here. There we see we're on 3.8 as last time. Now let's just run our main project here, and if you see here we have hello number and we have hello outside statement. Now the outside statement will always run regardless of what the number is. So here I've commented it out just for sake. Bring it back in, you'll see it will be printed in. Now if we change the number to 1, you'll see that this print will now go because number doesn't equal to 1, it equals to 0. And there we go. And you see outside statement will always stay there because this isn't defined by the if statement at all. Now, if we look at else, let's bring an example into this one. Let's bring this one to hello if statement to make it easy to read. We'll save that. Now, what's going to happen here? So as we know number is 0, it's actually set to 0. The if statement is checking if number is 1. If number is not 1, then else. So if this statement isn't reached, then else will run. And in this case, we should see hello else statement. So if we run this, and there we see it, hello else statement. Now, if we want to make it a little slightly more advanced, which is what most people would do anyway, now let's have a look at putting number as an input. So to make an input for user input, what we need to do is, if we type in a variable, let's do num in this case, and we do equals to input. So what this does is will give us an input in our command line. So whatever we type in this case, then it should be number, and that's compared against the if statement, and then we should be able to see which print will come out. So if we run this in now, and you see here our Python here is just waiting. So this is now waiting for our input. So if I give in 0, and we give enter, and we see 0 doesn't equal to 1, so hello else statement, as we see here. Now if we rerun it, and if we give 1, now we should see hello if statement. Oh, so we're seeing the hello else statement still. And this can be a common thing that would happen when you're developing bigger programs. You could start to see things that should work and they don't work. So let's go through a debugging phase. So chances are we have one as a string, and we're most probably trying to compare the one as a string into compared against a number. So in this case, what we can have a look at doing is if we can convert this into an integer, and usually we can just type an int and wrap our input around the integer, and let's rerun it. And there we go. We see hello if statement. Now, if we want to fix the previous run, which we'll reiterate, so let's run this one again. And you see here, let's give one again, and we've got a hello else statement. So if we want to fix this, we could simply wrap this in text. Now when we rerun it, hello if statement. Now the reason why, it's getting a bit off topic, but we'll go through it. So the reason why this is happening is because any input that's given in Python like this is defaulted as a string. And a string is just anything we have inside our brackets in terms of a input. So this could contain anything. It doesn't have to be a number. We could have ABC. We could have hash, exclamation, question mark. Anything in here can be put. So just to give you an example, I can put 3 question marks in here. And as our input's also string, when we rerun this, if I put in 3 question marks, we're hitting the if statement again. So that's the reason why it was not working before, is because this actually was a string. It wasn't a number. So similarly, when we convert this into a number, and we don't put any brackets and we give this as an integer also, when we run it, it will work correctly because it picks up the integer to the integer. Oh, sorry about that. And yeah, so that is the basis of if statements. So the next tutorial will be on case statements. So similar to if statements, but what we can do is have multiple if statements in one block of code. So it just helps us not to keep writing if this then else, if this then else. And it just makes the code a lot cleaner and a lot easier to read and working on bigger projects. So yeah, so all the links are in the description for the GitHub. You can download this simple program. Obviously, it'll be good if you do, because we're going to be building on top of this program. So each iteration that we have, the GitHub link will be updated by myself, and you can pull all this code down for free, and you can run it on your own machine. So yeah, stay tuned for the next tutorial.